Why does Revelation describe a city with golden streets, beautiful gates, and the glory of God, but no temple? If the temple was so important throughout the Bible, why isn't there one in the New Jerusalem? And where is God's presence in this city? The answer is found in one remarkable verse from Revelation. In Revelation chapter 21, John describes a vision of the New Jerusalem. He sees a holy city coming down from heaven. The city is described with gold, precious stones, and 12 gates. But then John notices something unusual. He says, "I did not see a temple in the city." Wait, no temple? Why? What happened to the temple? To understand that, we need to look at what the temple represented in the Bible. Throughout the Old Testament, the temple was an important place of worship. It was connected with God's presence among his people. The priests served there, sacrifices were offered there, and the most holy place had a unique role in Israel's worship. So why would John see a city without a temple? Does Revelation give us an answer? Yes. John continues, "Because the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple." But what does that mean? Is John describing another building somewhere inside the city? No. The verse itself identifies the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb as the temple. But who is the Lamb? Earlier in Revelation, the Lamb is a title used for Jesus. So John isn't describing a separate temple building. Instead, the vision presents the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb as the temple of the city. But there's another interesting detail. If there is no temple, does the city even need the sun and moon? Revelation 21:23 gives us another answer. John says the city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it. Why? Because the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. So notice how these two ideas appear together. First, there is no temple in the city. Why? Because the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple. Second, the city does not need the sun or moon. Why? Because God's glory gives it light. But does Revelation mean there is literally no sun anywhere? The passage doesn't explain that question. It simply describes the New Jerusalem as not needing the sun or moon for its light. That's an important distinction. We should stay with what the text actually says, instead of adding details that Revelation doesn't provide. So why is there no temple in the New Jerusalem? According to Revelation 21:22, John saw no temple, because the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple. And according to verse 23, the city doesn't need the sun or moon to provide its light, because God's glory gives it light. The vision doesn't answer every question about the New Jerusalem, but it gives us these details clearly. And that's what makes Revelation 21 such an interesting passage to study. Revelation 21:22-23.